Hey everyone, welcome. So, let's talk about something that drives anyone who uses AI absolutely crazy. It's personality, or should I say, personalities. If you've ever felt like your AI assistant is a different person every time you talk to it, you are definitely not alone, and we're going to fix that today.
Does this sound familiar? I mean, you spend all this time getting the tone just right, and then, a few prompts later, poof, it's gone. It's like you're talking to a completely different assistant. And this isn't just annoying, right? It totally messes up your workflow.
But here's the thing, and this is a really important shift in thinking. The problem isn't that your AI is bad at its job. The problem is that you're working with an absolute genius who just happens to forget everything you've ever taught it the second you start a new chat.
Let's really dive into this idea, because once you grasp this, solving the whole inconsistency problem becomes so much clearer.
This amnesia is the root of all our frustrations, isn't it? The AI forgets the style guide you just fed it, which means you have to repeat yourself over and over. And all that constant retraining just leads to bland, generic stuff because you're starting from square one every single time.
Now here's the really interesting part. The AI's forgetfulness, it isn't a bug. It's actually a core feature of how these large language models are designed to work. Let's peel back the curtain a little and look at the simple, technical reason why this happens.
Okay, so it all comes down to this thing called the context window. The easiest way to think about it is like a small whiteboard. This is the AI's short-term memory. As you chat, the whiteboard fills up. But to write something new, it has to erase something old. And guess what's usually the first thing to get wiped? Yep, your original instructions. And this comparison right here really just says it all. We kind of expect the AI to learn and grow like a person, building this huge library of knowledge in its head. But in reality, it's just working off that tiny, temporary whiteboard, constantly erasing to make room. So, this brings us to a pretty critical question. I mean, you'd never put up with this from a human coworker, right? Can you imagine having to reteach someone their entire job every single morning? It's absurd. So why on earth do we just accept this from our AI?
We had to stop this crazy cycle of retraining and start building something permanent. And thankfully, there is a super elegant solution that does exactly that.
The solution is creating what we'll call a Digital System Prompt Notebook, or an SPN. The absolute best way to think about it is as an employee handbook for your AI. It's one master document with all the rules, the personality, the context, everything it needs to know. It basically acts as its permanent external brain.
And the benefits here are huge, and they're immediate. With an SPN, you get consistency every time. You can say goodbye to that repetitive prompting that just drains your will to live. And maybe most importantly, you take this generic, forgetful tool and you transform it into a specialized expert that knows you and your brand inside and out.
Now, I know this might sound kind of technical or complicated, but it is incredibly easy to set up. So let's get right into the blueprint. You can seriously build your first one in just a couple of minutes.
Building your first handbook is really just a simple three-step process. First, define its role. Second, list your non-negotiable rules. And third, and this is key, give it a perfect example to copy. Let's break each one down.
So for step one, you've got to be specific. Don't just say, be a writer. No, give it a proper job description, a title, a voice, a mission. This one simple sentence instantly focuses its entire personality. It's a game changer.
For step two, think of these as your company policies. What are the hard and fast rules the AI has to follow, no matter what? A simple bulleted list is the clearest, most effective way to lay these out. And finally, step three, this might be the most powerful one. Show, don't just tell. By pasting in a short example of a perfect output, you're giving the AI a crystal clear model to imitate. Honestly, this is the fastest way to get it to understand your specific style.
Okay, so you spent, 5 or 10 minutes building this handbook. What's the payoff? What's this actually look like in practice? Well, let's look at a clear before and after.
Just look at this difference. It's night and day, right? On the left, a super simple prompt gets you a totally generic, boring result. But on the right, the exact same prompt now gives you perfect, on-brand content because the AI is automatically looking at its handbook for instructions. By giving it this external brain, you've effectively cured its amnesia. You've taken that brilliant but frustratingly forgetful genius and turned it into the reliable, consistent, and expert coworker that you wanted all along. So now you have the blueprint. You can stop retraining and start building.
You can actually give your AI a permanent character, a specific personality, a unique voice, and a memory that sticks. So, the only question left is, who will you create?